When you hear the word yoga, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably a yoga mat, right? A physical posture, maybe a deep stretch or a calming breath. But what if that's just the tip of the iceberg? Today, we're going to peel back the layers and get to what the ancient texts say is the real purpose of yoga. And spoiler alert, it has a lot less to do with touching your toes and way more to do with seeing the world and yourself with brand new eyes. Okay, let's get into it.
So let's just tackle the big question right out of the gate. If it's not just about the workout, then what on earth is it? Well, the ancient philosophy of yoga actually comes from the word darshana, which literally means a particular way of seeing or a mirror. The whole point is that it's a tool, a mirror, to help us see ourselves more clearly.
And this is where the definition just explodes, in the best way possible. The texts tell us that yoga isn't just a list of poses you have to memorize. No, it's the process of getting to a point you haven't been to before. Yeah, that could mean finally getting that hamstring stretch, for sure. But it could also mean finally understanding a tricky concept in a book you're reading, or even just the give and take of a really good conversation. Any of those movements toward a deeper understanding, that's yoga.
So if you remember one thing, let it be this. Yoga is a practice designed to clear up our perception. It's a method for scrubbing away the distortions that stop us from seeing things as they actually are. But what is it that's distorting our view in the first place? Well, yoga philosophy has a very specific name for that problem.
All right, let's meet the villain of our story. The core problem, the one thing that yoga is designed to fix, is a concept called avidya. You can think of it as this fundamental misunderstanding of reality that quietly influences everything we think, say, and do.
Now, here's what's so fascinating about avidya. It doesn't mean ignorance, like you just don't know something. It literally means wrong knowledge. It's that really tricky situation where we think we know, we act like we're 100% sure, only to find out later we had it all wrong. It's a false understanding that feels completely true in the moment.
And the source material gives us this absolutely perfect metaphor for it. It says that because of all our conditioning and our repeated habits over the years, our minds get covered with this film of avidya. It's like having a dirty, smudged lens on a camera. The beautiful world is still right there, but our view of it is blurry and distorted. The whole practice of yoga is about cleaning that lens.
And you can really feel the difference between these two states in your own body, can't you? When you act from avidya, it's that cycle of, I got this, followed by that sinking feeling of, oh, nope, I did not have this. But when you act from vidya, from that place of clarity, there's this quietness inside. There's no tension, because your actions are finally in sync with the way things really are.
So how does this film actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Well, the texts say that avidya is kind of shy. It rarely appears all by itself. Instead, it sends out its 4 kids, or 4 key expressions that are way easier to spot once you know what you're looking for.
That's right, 4 of them. These are the primary ways that this deep-seated misunderstanding grabs a hold of us. Let's break them down, one by one. Okay, first up is asmita, the ego, that constant voice of I, me, mine. Next is raga, which is our attachments and cravings, wanting something just because we liked it yesterday. Number 3 is dvesha, the flip side of that coin, aversion, pushing things away because we had a bad experience before. And the last one, the deepest one, is abhinivesha, fear, that clinging to what we know and that deep dread of the unknown.
Just take a look at that first one, asmita. How many times a day does a thought like one of these pop into our heads? That constant need to be in charge, to be right, to be the center of the story. That's the ego doing its thing. It's the first and loudest child of avidya. And these 4, working together, are what keep that camera lens so smudged.
Okay, so we have this problem, this film of avidya clouding up our vision. So what's the game plan? What do we do about it? Well, the Yoga Sutras don't just point out the problem. They give us a super practical, step-by-step solution. It's called Kriya Yoga.
And the beauty of this solution is its simplicity. It's a 3-pronged approach, 3 distinct practices that, when you do them together, work to systematically dissolve avidya and clean that lens.
So the first pillar is tapas. Think of this as the discipline, the fire, the energy you need to actually create change. The second is svadhyaya, or self-study. This is the part where you actually look in the mirror, reflect on who you are. And the third is ishvara pranidhana, which is all about the quality of what you do, acting with your full attention without obsessing over the outcome.
You put those 3 pillars together and you get Kriya Yoga, the yoga of action. The name itself tells you everything you need to know. It comes from the Sanskrit root kra, which means to do. This is not a passive sit-on-the-couch philosophy. It's a hands-on process for improving your body, deepening your understanding, and refining your actions, all to clear away that film of avidya.
Now, I know this all sounds pretty big and profound, and it is, but maybe the most powerful and encouraging part of this entire philosophy is how you start. It's all about beginning exactly where you are right this second.
So, of course, this leads to the most practical question of all. Where do I begin? Do I have to join a fancy studio? Do I need to be able to twist myself into a pretzel? The answer, you'll be happy to hear, is a huge, liberating no.
I mean, this quote from the text just says it all, doesn't it? There are 0 prerequisites. You don't have to fix yourself before you can start the work. You just begin with your current body, your current habits, your current messy life, and you just see what happens.
The texts are so clear about this. You can forget all the stereotypes. You don't have to become a vegetarian. You don't have to quit smoking. In fact, the source specifically talks about people who were smokers. They didn't stop smoking in order to practice yoga. They just started the practice, and as a natural result, the desire to smoke just fell away. The practice itself is what makes the change happen from the inside out.
And so the real journey can begin from anywhere. Maybe it's a physical posture. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's just paying attention to your breath for 1 minute. The goal is to let that little bit of awareness start to expand, to gradually shine a light on every corner of your life, your health, your relationships, your habits. It's a whole life process of bringing clarity to everything you are. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When you consider that film, the ego, attachment, aversion, or fear, what's just one smudge on your lens that you can start to gently clean today? What's one small area of your life where you can begin the practice of seeing things just a little more clearly?